So one we just got
Swag.
off the press, Pick 'em Pro
Swag.
shirt. Diego's rocking it. Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts.
All right.
He's the third best tight end in the NFL right now, and he's only going into his second year.
Yes.
But the dude is unbelievable, and he looks like a receiver.
Yes, he does. I love the Bronco receivers. I won my many fantasy football championships. I know you're up and coming in fantasy, but yeah I had McCaffrey.
That trophy got there is all
dusty.
No,
it's not dusty. It's fresh. Oh yeah, that I had Smith. I've had yourself several times. So yeah, definitely leaned on you guys for several of my championships.
Yeah.
So what was the best part about playing in the NFL?
The relationships that you make, the people that you meet, the competition, man, is just something that is irreplaceable. Game day, you can't replace that feeling because there's nothing else like it. So
can you just shed some light on us with us about what it was like being a professional athlete in the city of Chicago, and not just for the city of Chicago, but for the Chicago Bears? I mean,
this is former Chicago Bear Desmond Clark. And y'all hear me on many podcasts, but when y'all hear me on Pick 'em Pros, y'all know it's all about family. This ain't just business.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. You know who it is. I am Derek Thompson.
And I'm Diego Thompson.
And who are we?
We're the Pick 'em Pros.
We are the Pick 'em Pros coming back at you in the house. We have a special post today, as we've been teasing for a little while. We are so excited, as you know. It's one of the reasons you're tuning in today to see the man of the hour, Mr. Desmond Clark. Former tight end in the NFL, played 12 years, 8 of those with the Chicago Bears. So I know my brother, who is all things Chicago, is super excited about this one because I don't think there's a bigger just Chicago sports fan that lives than Uncle Dwayne. Is there?
Oh, yes. All sports, Bulls,
everything,
Bulls, Bears, Blackhawks, everything.
everything. So we grew up, outside of Chicago, my formidable years. I grew up going to the old Chicago Stadium, seeing Michael Jordan play. And I actually, this true story, the day of game 1 of the NBA Finals in 91, when they were en route to their first championship, I was there against the Bad Boy Pistons and all those battles. Game 1, we moved and arrived here in North Carolina. So I've been in North Carolina ever since for all the titles and all that good stuff. But we're so excited to have Mr. Desmond Clark on. Also excited to have him because he has just an amazing story. He is the author of Principles of Winning, 5 keys to create a standard of excellence. So we definitely want to get him to talk about that and just to share his upbringing and just his amazing story. He's someone that I feel has gotten the most out of his career and out of his abilities. And that's one of the things that we love and respect about him. And it's great for him to be the first athlete to have on here because with Pick 'em Pros, we see a correlation as we are looking to make this one of the most entertaining and fun sports shows out there. And we want to dominate YouTube, and it starts with believing. It starts with a vision. It starts with, as Desmond Clark would say, writing it down. So I know he's smiling as he's hearing that. So we're applying all the principles that he's bringing because we have a dream to make this a great show and en route to do it. And it started with having a vision. So without further ado, man, you want to get into it? Bring the man in.
Yeah, I'm ready, man. Let's bring him in.
All right, let's bring him in. Let's bring in Mr. Desmond Clark.
What's going on, fellas? What's going on? How you guys doing?
We are doing wonderful.
Good.
How about you?
Man, everything is golden right now. Yes, sir.
Good. Well, I know we've given a little bit of an intro, about you and whatnot, and we've said you've played 12 years in the NFL, 8 of those with the Chicago Bears. We'll dive into all of that. But where are you located now? Are you still in Chicago, or are you in another part of the country?
No, I'm in Orlando now. I moved back home to Florida. Once the pandemic hit, I moved back to my hometown. And then last year, I moved up here to Orlando, which I lived in Orlando before, but it's still new because it was 10 years ago, 11 years ago when I used to live here. So in a different part of the world now, but hey, my heart and my second home is still there in Chicago.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Once you have any ties there, I know that never leaves you. So that's something that I know definitely want to tie into talk about today. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about your career? What teams did you play for? What was the order? Maybe tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So after leaving Wake Forest, had a good career there, and the people in Raleigh and your neck of the woods,
Yes.
they probably remember me from being there in North Carolina playing at Wake Forest as a receiver. Then got drafted in the NFL as a tight end with the Denver Broncos in the 6th round. Played 3 years there in Denver. Had a pretty good time there in Denver. First year, hey, rookie, not a whole lot to mention. Then second year, started making a little name for myself. And then the third year really, caught fire that third year. But then going into my 4th year, I got an injury and that kind of set me back for a little bit. Denver ended up getting rid of me. And then I caught on down in Miami. Hey, nothing really to talk about down there in Miami. Caught 2 passes in 1 year. But that was like that rehabilitation year. And then from there was picked up in free agency by the Chicago Bears. And that's really where I made my mark and made my name as a Chicago Bear. And that's where, 95% of the people that follow the NFL remembers me and remember, my heyday there in Chicago. So, yeah, first in Denver, they gave me the opportunity. Then Miami, and then went on to play 8 years with the Chicago Bears.
Wow. Well, yeah, it's definitely an illustrious career to get 12 years. I think the average NFL career is like what, 3.5?
2 or 3 years.
Yeah, just over 3. So yeah, it was a grind, but I enjoyed every minute of it.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Tell us a little bit about growing up. I know you have a story that is very inspirational, and I've heard some of that before, but I would love for you to maybe share with our audience anything you can about just a kid coming up in your path to the NFL.
Yeah, so we all have our unique stories, right? Nobody's story is alike, and with me, I feel like my story is unique, not because it's just my story, right? And growing up in Lakeland, Florida, just about 45 minutes, southwest of Orlando. Falling on hard times back in the 80s. I was born in 77, so growing up in the 80s, during the crack epidemic and all of that, my father fell victim to that, and that really set us on hard times. Leaving my mom to raise three boys for a while, and then eventually my younger brother came along 12 and a half years after me. But yeah, it was a struggle coming up, but Mom, she did whatever she could to make ends meet, and finally built herself up to get into a professional career, and just showed us the way of, hey, when the chips are down, here's the things that you have to do to build yourself up and to accomplish, things in life that to live a decent life. And early on in my years, from about 7 to until I left and went off to Wake Forest, those were very, very instrumental years of my life, because I learned a couple things. I learned from the good and the bad of that situation, right? I learned of, hey, watching how making bad choices could derail your life. And then I watched how making good choices when you didn't have a lot of good choices to make, I've seen how that can build your life. So, that's something that I talk about and I dive deep into when I speak about principles of winning, some of the stuff that I wrote in the book. And, it's just part of who I am. That's the fabric of who I am and what made me who I am today.
Wow. Well, yeah, I know you've have applied those life lessons, and not only have you done that, you've been successful and are successful in your own right. I love how you're giving back and teaching others and kind of showing them how they can really maximize their opportunities that are out there. So
Right. And I wouldn't even say that I'm teaching others, right? Because here's something that I believe. I believe we all have it in us, right?
Right.
We sometimes, some of us, we could bring it out of ourselves, right? But I think the majority of us, right, it has to be pulled out of us. And that's all I'm trying to do is give people a perspective, give them another way of looking at it, give them some inspiration so I can be the one that kind of helps pull it out of them so they can actually see it. And then once people are able to see it and recognize it and have awareness of their own strength and power of decision and choices and mindset, now they can start to build on that awareness that now they have and seeing that, hey, this has been done. This is a perspective that I may not have heard before, and that perspective ignites something within them to do what they were already equipped to do, but now just had to have that spark.
Yeah. No, that's a great way to put it. That makes a lot of sense. Well, hey, Diego, a co-host here. I understand you being a 12-year-old here and sports fanatic, co-host of a show on YouTube at the age of 12.
Yeah.
But you also have, I think, your eyes on potentially playing sports in some capacity. I think you have a couple of questions that you want to ask Des here today.
Oh yeah, I have a couple questions. So the first one was, what was it like to play in the NFL? Of course, playing there for 12 years. I just want to know what it was like.
Let me ask you a question before I answer that question. So I know you're into golf, Diego. What else are you into?
Basketball. Of course, you said golf. I swim too. Play football for fun. So yeah, that's pretty much all the things.
So just think about your world right now, Diego, and think about, all right, if I go play in the best golf tournament for a 12-year-old, if I go play in the best basketball tournament as a 12-year-old, if I do some of those things that, hey, what your world is right now, and it's at the top of the world, right? Is if I win this tournament, if I shoot this 72 at this golf tournament, if I hit this last second shot to win this AAU tournament, somebody's going to consider me the best in the world at what I do. That's what it was like to play in the NFL. You're playing with the best of the best of the best in the world. There's no higher level. There's no, hey, from here, then I could go here. No, this is it. This is the top of the mountain. This is, hey, all that hard work, just like you're doing now. You're looking up that mountain saying, man, if one day I can get to the top of that mountain, that's that experience that I'm now on the top of the mountain. I'm actually here. Now is, how do I stay on top of the mountain? Because the top of the mountain, man, it's tough. It's thin air up there. You know what I'm saying? And if you're not in shape and you're not ready for it, man, you're gonna suffocate. And then all of a sudden you're gonna be rolling down the mountain. But man, getting to the top of the mountain, getting to that peak, and having all that hard work pay off, man, it's an extraordinary feeling.
Wow. Yeah, that's great. That's great. That's amazing. As the top of, there's nothing else there's no other level than in football. So that's just amazing. So I have another question. So what was the best part about playing in the NFL?
The best part about playing in the NFL, man, there's so many good things about it. I mean, the best part is you can take care of your family really well. That's just one.
There you go. Take care of family. Yeah. That's what
one of the best parts. But it's the relationships that you make, the people that you meet, the competition, man, is just something that is irreplaceable. Game day, you like. To this day, you can't replace that high, right? You can't replace that feeling because there's nothing else like it. So there's a few things about playing in NFL that's, you can't rank with anything else. Playing in front of 60, 70, 80,000 people, and then millions around the world, that feeling that you get, I mean, it's really like a high of going out and competing and going out and performing. Those were the things that everybody could see that obviously are great. But then, like I say, the relationships that you build with guys and the competition, even on the practice field, those were the good parts about playing the game. And then just what it instills within you, because everybody can't do that. People, and I'm sure you heard a lot of this at our age here, Derek. And if I wouldn't have got hurt, I had that opportunity to, I could have been in the NFL too. And hey, some of the guys aren't. I'm not trying to, kill nobody's character, but realistically, no, you couldn't. Because it just takes so much effort, discipline, and it takes so much commitment to do that. It's not about just athletic ability, right? And if you're able to commit to it, if you're able to put in that work and give that, it's 100% effort all the time. What that does to you as a person is something that you can't get somewhere else. So I appreciate that part of the game also.
Yeah, this is crazy. There's a lot of great things playing in the NFL, just the competition, everything. And I know you mentioned game day. So I know you played in Super Bowl. Was it Super Bowl 43?
15 years ago. So yeah, 41.
Oh, okay. So 41. Okay. Mm-hmm. So you mentioned game day and everything. So how was it to just play in the Super Bowl? The Super Bowl, like that's the ultimate level of football.
So there's nothing else bigger. And I've never lost my breath or like felt like I needed to like just go calm myself down before a game besides the Super Bowl. Like going out on that stage and running out on that field where they're saying, hey, and coming onto the field, the Chicago Bears, and you run out on that field and all those cameras are, all those flashes and stuff like that. Man, that's a feeling like I really had to go to the sideline and say, just breathe. It's just a game. It's just a game. You got to play this game the same way you played every other game. And I actually had to calm myself down because in reality, it wasn't just a game. It's the freaking Super Bowl. Right. So I've never had to do that. Even my first game as a rookie and it wasn't that I was scared or nervous. It was just, man, you're on the biggest stage of all. Like, that's the most watched event in the entire world.
Right. Yes.
And trying to process that. I think I was trying to process it, and it just took me a minute to, hey, block all of that out and just focus on the game.
Wow. Yeah. Meanwhile, you're in the highest game in the highest league and one of the most watched sport and the most watched sport in America. So yeah, that's just crazy.
The most watched event in the world.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Great questions, and to piggyback on that a little bit more. Again, being from the Chicago area, until my teens, and I know what it was like as a fan for Chicago sports. Can you just shed some light on us with us about what it was like being a professional athlete in the city of Chicago, and not just for the city of Chicago, but for the Chicago Bears? I mean, as much as the Bulls and Michael Jordan, took over the city and it was the Bulls, I think Chicago, even then and before then and now always will be the Bears.
Nothing Bears.
Tell us about that.
I mean, it's the charter franchise, right? The Bears were the beginning of the NFL. So that history, man, and knowing that you're walking in the history with, players like coaches and players like Papa Bear, George Halas, who started the NFL, and Walter Payton and Gale Sayers and Dick Butkus and even some legendary players that I played with, like Brian Urlacher, man. I thought Denver, and Denver is a great sports town. And then going to Miami, from Miami, I was like, oh man, Denver was great because Miami is not as passionate with the sports as Denver. So I was like, man, I really miss Denver now. And then I got to Chicago, I was like, oh man, Chicago is nuts. Chicago is nuts just like Denver, right? And then after playing there for so many years and then living there for so many years, I don't think there's a more passionate sports town. And and of course I'm talking in a biased sense. And I never played in New York. Never played in LA. I don't think anybody will say LA is a more passionate sports town. There's only a few places that can even debate if they are a bigger sports town than Chicago, and there's only maybe just one or two. So playing in that market, I mean, even to this day, go back to Chicago, people still recognize you, people still appreciate you for what you've done on the field, and it's been 11 years now, going on 12 years since I played in the NFL, and just to feel that love, appreciation, and knowing what it meant to the fans is something that is I'll never be able to wrap my head around it from a fan's perspective, because the fans are, man, they're passionate about the game.
Yes.
And it will always be a Bears town. I don't care how many championships other people win, like the Cubs,
Right.
That come and go. The Bulls, it came and went. Even the Sox, it came and went. Mm-hmm. But when the Bears are good, man, yeah, it's like legendary status.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we just binge watched again. We saw it before the Last Dance. We watched it, but we're like, man, you know what? That was about 2 years ago. It was a 10-part series. There was so much in that. It's like, you know what? Let's watch it again. And so I try to show Diego as much as I can with the history of sports, period. So wanted him to get us perspective of Chicago. So I think you really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Kind of got to see
it was good.
how the fans are.
Yes.
One thing that we didn't actually ask you to touch on. So when you were a rookie with the Denver Broncos, I believe I believe Shannon Sharpe was still on the team there. Anything you share just about being a rookie in the league and any mentorship that took place or hazing?
You know what? I'm glad that I went to the team that I went to first, because that group of tight ends, right? And I talk about him all the time. Shannon Sharpe, he's a Hall of Famer. Dwayne Carswell, nickname House, right? That's his nickname. Still to this day, that's his nickname. He went to a Pro Bowl. Byron Chamberlain, once he left Denver, he went over to Minnesota and became a Pro Bowler. Mm-hmm. So I was in the midst of greatness, right? I was in the midst of pros, like pros. Like these guys knew how to play the game. So I came into a situation where I was mentored the right way. Mm-hmm. And I was, even though, nobody's perfect. Everybody knows that Dwayne Carswell House, he liked to go and party. But he'll come in, on a couple hours of sleep, but he would never miss a beat, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody know about Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe wasn't partying. Shannon Sharpe was all about taking care of his body and being out there on that field and executing and watching how he did his business, and then watching how like a natural athlete like Byron Chamberlain came in and he did his work. I got different perspectives and picked up different attributes of three totally different types of players, right? I was able to pick up all of that from just being in that room for 1 year with all three of them. And then eventually, Shannon Sharpe, he was gone after the 99 season. So it was Byron Chamberlain, myself, and Dwayne Carswell in 2000. And then, in 2001, it was me and Dwayne Carswell and another young. We had Todd. What's Todd's last name? He came from the Tampa Bay Bucks, and he was a pro, right? So, man, being drafted into that room, it set the pace of my professional career of how to go out and not just play the game, but how to be a professional. And then having someone like Rod Smith, who was a receiver in Denver, also, undrafted free agent.
Mm-hmm.
I think still to this day, he has the most catches for any receiver that was undrafted in the NFL.
Wow.
And watching how these guys work, man, I don't think I could have came up in a better situation.
Not at all. Was McCaffrey there?
Easy Eddie, yeah.
Yes.
Easy Eddie McCaffrey, yeah, he was there, and the second year, no, it was the third year. Unfortunate accident for him when he broke his leg, but then they gave me the opportunity. I became that second, third target at that point because Easy Eddie McCaffrey went down, and the receiver Eddie Kennison that they had brought in to kind of take over that role. He wasn't producing, having some conflict with coaches. And so that opened up the door for me in my third year to become, that second, third option and end up catching 51 passes that year.
Wow. Yeah, I love the Bronco receivers. I won, my many fantasy football championships. I know you're up and coming in fantasy. But yeah, I had McCaffrey.
That trophy got there is all
dusty. No, it's not dusty. It's fresh. Oh yeah, that. I had Smith. I've had yourself several times. So yeah, definitely leaned on you guys for several of my championships.
Yeah, man. I when I first started playing, I didn't even know fantasy football existed. And then it was like 05, 06. I think it was like 06. People started coming up to me like, yeah, I got you on my fantasy football team. And I didn't know how to answer that question. I'd be like, oh, okay. I had no clue. I didn't even know so what does that mean?
Right. Now,
everybody knows.
Yeah, everybody knows. Have you ever played fantasy since retiring? Or
I have. I did a couple fantasy leagues, like what it was, 2013, 14, 15, maybe 2016. But I haven't been in any fantasy leagues in probably 5 years now. Yeah. But it may be time to get back in one.
It may be. All right. Well, hey, we'll have the door open.
Okay.
When you're ready. We can't have you on here without getting. Come on, we do lists here all the time.
Oh yeah.
My list dominates this.
What's show with our list?
Right. we have to get your top 5 tight ends of all time. We're not going to go 10, 20. We'll be here all day, but at least top 5 tight ends of all time. We'd love to get your take on going 5 to 1.
And so this is one that I don't think can be debated too much. But I'm also going to give you my top 5 tight ends today. I think that one can be debated even a little bit more, right? So when we go top 5 tight ends of all time, right? You got to start with. Well, I'm gonna start from the bottom. I'm gonna start from the bottom. Perfect. So right at number 5, I wrote right here. It's a tie. We're gonna go Kellen Winslow and Ozzie Newsome. Both. Because I was like, ooh, I can't take one of them out, right? So that's where we're gonna go with that. And then number 4 was hard, man, because I got this personal relationship with Shannon Sharpe. I wanted him to be higher, right?
Right.
Just because that's my guy. That's who I played with. But I had to put Shannon Sharpe at number 4. And now here's where some debate may come in. I got Antonio Gates at number 3.
Yeah, he's a beast.
So Antonio Gates was a beast, right? I mean, I believe he's second all time in touchdowns for a tight end. I believe. So don't hold me to that. But then number 2, man, I got Big Gronk at number 2. And he may not be what he was before, but Gronk still put up stats. Yeah. He still put up stats. So I got him at number 2, and he probably still will play for another 2 years if he comes back. He's a free agent right now, but he still has some room to put up some numbers. And then number 1, man, I don't know who can debate this. Tony Gonzalez,
Yeah.
the dude. I mean, the dude's a beast, right? And he's number one in every single category, right? So, and then you got some guys, man, that I played with, like played in Carolina.
Olsen.
Greg Olsen.
Greg Olsen, like he played with me. We played for a couple years there in Chicago. And you look at a guy like Greg Olsen, man, he's probably around that 9, 10 area, maybe.
Right.
So he's a borderline Hall of Famer. I think he may get in, but not first, second ballot. Is going to be somewhere down the line. So now, man, here's where the debate could come in at with today's top tight ends. So, and I love all of these guys, and I'm gonna start from the bottom again. This guy, Mark Andrews, right? I didn't really until last year. I didn't even know who the guy was, and then last year he just burst onto the scene, and I mean he caught 80, 90 passes last year, and that's without playing with Lamar Jackson for a good amount of time.
Right.
Like I also like Darren Waller from the Raiders. Now the thing with him, and this is a little touchy point for me. He gets a lot of targets, right?
Yes.
So of course he's gonna have outstanding numbers. And the reason why it's a touchy situation for me is because I never was that guy that got a lot of targets because of the type of offense that we played in and the quarterbacks that we had up on the center. Now, here's where I'm going to go, where it's going to spark some debate. I believe Kyle Pitts right now is the third best tight end in the NFL.
Ooh, all right. Kyle Pitts.
All
right.
He's the third best tight end in the NFL right now, and he's only going into his second year.
Yes.
But the dude is unbelievable, and he looks like a receiver.
Yes, he does.
Right. So now, who's 1 and 2? And I had to think about this because both of these guys are beasts. It was between Travis Kelce and then, of course, George Kittle from San Francisco.
Right.
And I gave it to George Kittle.
Okay.
To be number 1. Here's why. Travis Kelce plays on that offense with all those beasts for players, and he has the best quarterback in the NFL.
Right.
So I believe that the reason why his numbers are slightly better is because of who he plays with, the offense that he plays in. But George Kittle is doing it with less,
right.
Especially at the quarterback position. And that's why I gave George Kittle, just for right now, looking at last year coming into this year, he's the best tight end in the NFL.
All right. Yeah, I can't argue with that. And we'll see this year. Now that Tyreek is in Miami, KC won't be as explosive. What will Kelce do? So
right. I still think he's going to put up numbers. It's you cannot deny the talent, right? The dude is a beast.
Right.
The dude is a beast, right? So it may be a thing where he takes his numbers up now because he doesn't have, someone that's taking opportunity away from him.
Right.
But at the same time, he was able to produce like that because who are you going to double team? Who are you going to focus on?
Yeah. Too many guys.
too many weapons.
Yeah.
Far too many weapons. All right. Well, yeah, it's great to hear your list of the top 5 tight ends of all time, and thanks for throwing the bonus in and kind of giving us your current list. So want to hear the debate, want to have some comments on this. Let us know what you think about Dez's list here. And hey, we can't let you go. We're gonna let you go here in a minute, but without talking about obviously the Chicago Bears, current Chicago Bears, what they're gonna do this year. Again, my brother is Uncle Dwayne, all things Chicago. He's holding out hope. He was ecstatic when they got Trubisky. I told him, hey, sorry. And then a couple years later, I got to get rid of Trubisky. Then, the coach, they were all hyped about him, and then, fire him. And he just continues to go on this roller coaster of emotions, which I love because I love giving him grief. all the time. So, but hey, do you have any hope that you can give Dwayne about this year's Chicago Bears team? Are they going to make the playoffs?
You mind if I just talk straight to Uncle Dwayne?
There you go. Please do.
Uncle Dwayne. So, Bears fans, Unc, you're a Bear fan. And you guys get so wrapped up in the heart of it. Like you love it. And you just want your team to do so well. But Uncle Dwayne, this is coming from a former player, and I love the Chicago Bears too, and I want them to be good. I just don't think it's going to happen this year. But here's why. I want to break it down for you, and I want to prevent you from some heartache this year of high expectations. This is a rebuilding year, and I think I don't know what they're going to do, but here's what they need to do. They need to develop an offensive line that can protect the quarterback. I don't think we have that right now. And if you don't have a good offensive line, you're not going to have a good offense. Look at all of the good offenses. They have decent offensive lines, if not really good offensive lines. Chicago Bears don't have that. We need to develop that offensive line so then we can have protection around our quarterback and establish somewhat of a consistent run game. That's what they need to do. And then ultimately, that defense is retooling also. I mean, Mack is gone, so we don't have that other edge rusher. We still got Robert Quinn there. But it's going to be a rebuilding year for that defense also. So I just think that we need to be respectable this year. We're not going to be in the runnings for the playoffs. That's my thought. But if we can come out of this thing respectable, around 500, or maybe a 9-7. I mean, a 9-7 season would be extraordinary.
I agree.
But Unc, don't get your heart wrapped up into, hey, we're going to be a playoff team this year. Don't do it to yourself. Don't allow your brother to be able to call you and get you all upset. Just know what's coming this year. And if they exceed those expectations, then great. But don't get your heart caught up in it this year.
That was wonderful. Nice. All right. Well, hey, realistic, perspective there. Again, building year. Let's build that offensive line and build for the future. Let's transition. Love talking about your NFL career and your journey there. But I know now you again are an author of Principles of Winning, and I'd like to just talk about the book. Any key takeaways that you can share. We will, for those that are watching, we'll have a raffle to get a few copies of the book to our audience. But it's a great read. You definitely want to check it out. But we'd love for you just to tell us about your methodology in regards to Principles of Winning.
Yeah, first of all, the book is an easy read. It's not the sophisticated, complex book that you gotta, oh man, what did that mean? I think I'm a very, very practical thinker and person, and I live a very practical life. And that's what you get in these 5 principles, right? Practicality. Like, there's nothing earth-shattering about these principles, but they're coming from a perspective that I believe people can relate to and say, you know what? That does make sense. Oh, I never thought about it like that. Or, you know what? Yeah, maybe let me try it that way because I was doing it another way, and maybe this will work better. So that's what you get from this book. And talking about the principles, things like, hey, all you have is your name and your word. That's like my favorite one, right? Because I believe that's where everything starts. That's the foundation. That's the essence. And if we're talking about business, right? That's your brand. So whenever they say Diego, there's a connotation that comes with saying the name Diego when they think about you, Diego, and being at 12 years old. If you can understand this now, hey, you're building your own natural brand. Like, you're a business. Like, you are whatever you put out there. That's what people are going to remember. That's what they're going to base all of their assumptions and decisions, and whether they want to promote you or work with you, or if you have a business, if they want to buy from you, all of that stuff is based on, first of all, what does your name mean to them? But first, we got to understand what does our name mean to us? What does Desmond Clark, what does that name mean to me? What do I want that name to represent first to me? And now I have to model that. I have to put that out there. And then secondly, what do I want my name to mean to everyone else out here? And when we start there and actively think about that, now, yes, in a business sense, we're building a brand, but in a human, personable person as a person, now that's how we build our character. That's how we build our code of ethics. That's how we build who we are as a person. And I think, we have to do that for ourselves, but it's very important that we teach that to our kids and get them to understand, yeah, man, it's more than, for my son, it's more than just, hey, your name is Nebraska. No, your name is Nebraska, and that represents something, that means something. What do you want that to mean? So I believe that principle is the one that's the foundation to everything else when we talk about building relationships, the power of relationships, and we talk about the commitment to excellence. And can we be great? Of course we can be great. How do we break that down? And then being self-motivated, really just being self-accountable, right? Being self-accountable. And then having a passionate purpose. Hey, what do we want to get out of this? What am I waking up for every single day? And what am I putting in this hard work and this struggle for? Like, what do I want to get out of this? And making sure that we understanding those things. But again, it goes back with understanding what your name and word means to yourself and what you want it to mean for other people.
Yeah, I big fan of this book. I encourage everybody to check it out. And again, as I mentioned before, one of the things, it's simple, but we often don't do it. And that is, if it's truly a goal, you have to write it down.
Right.
And that's something that, I share with Diego, now he's writing his down. He has his vision board, and I can see the focus and improvement once, I started writing things down. He started writing things down. And I think that's definitely something that I took away from your principles.
Absolutely. It's not real unless you write it down, unless you schedule it, unless it's part of your everyday thinking, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not real.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Oh, well, thank you for sharing that. And I understand also, Des, that you are, traveling around. You speak for corporations, organizations. How can somebody, if they are interested in having you to speak, maybe can you shed light on maybe what you speak about and how people can reach out to you for engagements?
Yeah, so man, I'm really passionate about personal and professional development, right? I'm really passionate about leadership, team leadership, building teams, how to do that. I think we have so many great leaders out here, but I think at the same time we don't have enough good leadership. And this is not meant to be a political statement, but from the top all the way down, I think that we need to have more and better leaders out here. So I'm really passionate about that. And the way that we do that is we start, with the development, and talking about things like name and word and how do we build great teams, and how do we get commitment from people, and how do we inspire people to be great at what they do, and how do we hold people accountable in a way that they want to hold themselves accountable, and all of that stuff. So these are some of the things that I talk about. I talk about, hey, in the pursuit of greatness, what do we need to do? So if anybody wants to get in contact with me, hey, if you know how to navigate the internet, you know how to get in contact with me. We got the website, Des Clark Speaks. We have Instagram, we have LinkedIn, we have Facebook, and it's all under Des Clark 88. So I'm not that hard to find. My phone number is out there everywhere on the website and all over the social media. So, just a little bit stroking the keys, you'll be able to find me.
All right. And we're displaying that on the bottom as well. So, as a guest, again, we have a few gifts coming your way there. So one, we just got off the press, Pick 'em Pro shirt. Diego's rocking it there. Not only there, but then on the sleeve. There you
we
go.
Got
On the sleeve as well.
Yeah.
So we will be sending you Pick a Pro shirt again. We will be seeing you in person at some point in the near future. We were supposed to do this, and we had some things pop up, but we thank you for joining us virtually for this version. You're welcome at any time, and we'll definitely have to have you back. Also, one other question for you, because this will lead to something that we have for you. Being a Chicago athlete, and I know you like the Jays, rock the Jays. What's your favorite? This is off the cuff. What's your favorite Jay that ever came out? Favorite Jordan?
Yeah, so if I'm gonna rock a pair of Jordans, there are many pairs Jordans that I'll wear.
Yes.
But my go-tos are the retro 13s. I've had like 3-4 pair of those over the course of time.
Yes, and those are so comfortable. That is a very comfortable shoe. So yeah, love the 13s. Okay, that's good to know. Well, we will have to make that happen. Keep you fresh with your shoe game. So, but again, Des, hey, thank you so much for joining us. We enjoyed hearing about your principles of winning, hearing what you're doing now. Again, check Des out for future engagements. Loved hearing about your career, and when football season comes around, we'll have to definitely have to get you on again. But hey, for all of those, thanks for watching us. Thanks for supporting. Enjoy your 4th of July weekend and enjoy sports. Pick 'em pros.
Pick 'em pros.
We are out.
Tavares Jordan.